Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 52 in the book of Genesis. You've heard the phrase before, sometimes God closes a door. And we're going to find a literal example of that today with Noah and the ark, because in chapter 7, verse 16, it says, the Lord shut him in. The Lord shuts the door. So let me read. I'm going to read from chapter 7. This is verse 6 starting. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came upon the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went with him into the ark to escape the waters of the flood. So it's a rescue operation. Of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, and of birds and of everything that creeps on the ground, 2 and 2, male and female, went into the ark with Noah, as God had commanded Noah. And after 7 days, the waters of the flood came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, and on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth. So water came from below, and the water of the heavens were opened. Water came from above. And rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And on the very same day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They and every beast according to its kind, and all the livestock according to their kinds, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every winged creature. They went into the ark with Noah, 2 and 2 of all flesh, in which there was the breath of life. And those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded them. And then here's the last verse for today. And the Lord shut him in. So Noah is 600 years old. He's been building an ark for at least 60 years, maybe 100 years. He's in the ark. He's waiting for the rain from above and the fountains from below. Very unusual. This is a very distinctive event where water comes from above and water comes from below. It was epic. I don't know if you've ever been afraid in a thunderstorm. It probably was a fearful thing when this happened, when water was coming from everywhere. So the rain lasts 40 days and 40 nights, but the problem isn't over. He's on the boat for another 150 days while he's floating around, not touching any land. Then he finally touched lands, and then it's another 5 months before the waters recede. So he's in the ark for a year, basically a year and a week, a year and 10 days. So this is very specifically written down of what day the flood started, and it's interesting. It's clearly something not to be forgotten. It cements it in a place in history, and there's the specificity to the severity of the flood and the timing of the flood. It's scary in the sense that it's very sober judgment. No swimmer could survive it. No sinner is safe. So God is in the love business, and that's all great. God is in the mercy business. God is in the faithfulness business. But also, just remember, God's in the judgment business, and that's what we see here. And we see these 8 rescuees, these refugees. And the really sweet thing, I think, in the story is that the Lord shuts him in. So God has been involved in Noah's life up to this point. He's saying things, and God said build an ark, and God said go into the ark. But now we have this 3-dimensional personal God intervening and slamming the door and protecting Noah and his family. So yes, God is personally involved in judgment, and yes, God is personally involved in rescue. In here we find God present, on site, moving objects. So this is a very intimate event that God is doing. So I wonder what it was like to know that God closed the door. Like maybe it was built to such an extent to get the elephants in there or whatever, that Noah knew that I can't close this door. And then as he's been sitting in the ark waiting for the rains to start for 7 days and maybe loading up the animals, him to know, hey, I didn't close the door, and yet the door is closing. So this emphasizes this special and intimate moment of obviously judgment and fear, but also God's protection. So God knew about this, that he knew that this was going to happen when he walked in the cool of the day. He knew that he was going to have to be involved in this major rescue operation. And here we see kind of like the first part of God's hand in the rescue operation where he shuts the door. Now that rescue doesn't even stop until the cross or maybe even the book of Revelation. So sometimes God closes the door, and I think it's a fun title. You've heard the expression before, but here it's to start a rescue operation. Even the word that's used here, where the word in Hebrew is the Jehovah word, it's Noah's covenant God. It's the covenant God that Jehovah seals the door and seals the deal, so to speak. It emphasizes that salvation only belongs to the Lord, but sometimes he asks our cooperation, because Noah's been building an ark for about 100 years. So that we have a cooperation of the divine and the human in Noah working with the Lord. It reminds me of the passage in Philippians chapter 12, therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only in my presence, but more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And then, for it is God who works in you both to will and to work for his good pleasure. So there's this cooperation of you do stuff and God does stuff at the same time. So let me make one little criticism. Hey, why all the destruction? In thinking about it today, it's not remarkable that those who deserved destruction got destruction by a just God. In my mind, that makes kind of perfect sense. What doesn't make sense is the remarkable thing that some who deserved destruction, and I'm including Noah and his family, all have sinned, that some who deserved destruction did not get destruction by a just God. So it's remarkable that some do not get what they deserve. It's remarkable that there is grace. It's remarkable that there is mercy, and it's remarkable that God preserves some. In a sense, it's remarkable that God closes this door. Thanks for listening.